Evening folks, bit last minute with this one because the light is fading, but I wanted to get it taken to get it up onto YouTube for you. I don't know where to begin with this. It's a little piece of nostalgia for sure. It came from the estate of a chap called Charlie, and unfortunately he didn't get an opportunity really to enjoy it himself. I mean, it seems to have been, he did do some bits and pieces of holidaying, and he, God bless him, he had it fully kitted out, which you'll see in a minute. But as of recent, with his health decline, he wasn't able to enjoy it. But listen, it's here and it's going to be sold. And don't tell me about it's out of season, and don't tell me the prices aren't what they used to be, and don't tell me about Max and Patty. You can't help but sort of draw comparisons to, because I think before the Transit they were looking at one of these. Listen, this is a Fiat Ducato, full of D-Reg. It's an Elddis, and I will get the model name. I had the model name and I don't have it to hand, but it's an Elddis coach-built model, obviously, and it's lovely. It's original. I mean, I can say with confidence that the owner has done this bit of gold here, but it's very in keeping and it's quite tidily done. The truck itself is, the base cab's a petrol, so it's a 2-litre petrol, 5-speed manual. I drove it yesterday. I drove it up as fast as 55, 60 miles an hour, and it was very pleasant. I mean, there's no power steering with it, so for those of you who know what that is, I mean, my old generation of us in our mid-40s may have had cars. I certainly did, because mine were all so old and crap that had no power steering, but not everybody was afflicted. However, what I would say to you is that you only notice it when you're parking, and let's face it, these things usually get parked in grass or loose gravel when you're parking at a site, so it's not going to be a big deal. And feed the steering wheel is what I'll tell you. Feed the steering wheel. Actually, when driving, I find it's more positive. You feel more connected to the vehicle. And something like this, where it's a little bit bigger than we drive day to day, you really do want to feel like that. So, and as I said, it was very pleasant. It's showing just over 56,000 miles, which there is some service history, and I will show you that in time, that backs that up. Last service 2021. It's MOT'd as well. And the MOT history is not bad, actually. I'll go through that with you too. You see it has this little box in the back and that padlock. There is so many sets of keys with this. But what's lovely about it, given that it's quite a large thing for a lot of people to be driving after, let's face it, a car, it has the glass all around at the back. So lots of people with the modern ones would put on a rear-facing camera. This has the glass, so like when I'm coming into park, I allow an extra 2 foot for this box, and you're able to see out the back right from the front. So it's fab. I haven't been down on my hands and knees, but corrosion, funnily enough, I don't believe was a big deal with this. Through looking through the history on the MOT history on Vosa, you can see it has wind out awning, or yawning as my aunt calls it. And it's one of those X ones that sort of opens out, so it's unsupported, but it supports itself, which is brilliant. It's got a stable door, is that the right way to say it? So it's 2-part, and there is multiple different steps, which you'll see in time. There's a nice one there that actually was quite recently bought with a handrail, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's quite clean. You know, these things, you go, listen, it's old, it's 1987. Here I'll get myself into it just about. And okay, it's a little bit dark now. So here we go, I've managed to get the lights. Ta-da! It's like a before and after with Blue Peter. There's the Elddis Caravans, Elddis Concept, I think that's where they make it, isn't it? So that's the electrics panel, 240 AC mains, 12 volt DC, and you can run off the car battery or I'm assuming there's a leisure battery. I'm assuming there is one around somewhere. There's lights here, or not, and there's a fan, or not. I haven't it connected up. you've pretty much all the bits and pieces you need. Just go with the vehicle. Bless his soul, I mean, he literally had himself kitted out for going out, which is fantastic. And look, it's for you now to benefit from. It's a starter vehicle for some. It might be a little project for others, and in the sense that they might decide that they want to update fabrics. I mean, I don't know. I would just use it. It's great. I've sat in it. It's comfy. There's a little gas ring hob here, gas cylinders, chairs. I mean, oh, that's what I was going to show you. This. So you put your TV in here, and it connects from the back. You swing it open. Look at that. You have your aerial plug and all the rest of it. So that's quite nifty. I mean, look, it's of its time, 1987. There's a carriage clock there that wouldn't be out of amiss on the generation game probably, but again, all very as you would expect. Yeah, so there's the light there, Elson blue. I'm assuming that's the toilet rinse and stuff. Listen, it's fine. I think it's a great little thing. It's very original, which that's what's so endearing about it. Everything, there's nothing broken. There's no heavy wear. I mean, some of these can be like mausoleums. They're never touched. And some of them are absolutely destroyed because they've just been used and abused. Cables, and I mean, he has everything. A microwave, for goodness sake, a kettle. I mean, I don't even look to see what's more under here. More, side cables and stuff like that. So you shouldn't need nothing. What's this called? A Carver traumatic. So traumatic, that's what they call them, trauma or traumatic items. And there's your fridge with this nice little screwdriver holding it in place with a little freezer at the top. And this is fab. It's not a scrappy thing. It's very presentable. It was somebody's pride and joy, Charlie's pride and joy. A couple of speakers there. I'm assuming that runs off the cassette player, which I don't know whether it's working. We can check that. It's sweet, and the 2-litre petrol engine. So you have these two front seats, which again, I haven't managed. They're so soft. I haven't managed to turn them, but I would assume they do, because you can see down there's like bars that they do. There's even touch-up paint. I mean, he was proud of this thing, Charlie, and he added some stripes and paint to the front. What is it called? Beige Tropico Fiat. That's so cool. And there's a couple of cassettes, and listen, you're ready to travel. So what have we got? 56880, and I added about 40 miles yesterday. So as I said, power steering is not something that's here. This is keep it up, keep fit steering, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. But I think you'll be absolutely fine once you're on the go. So let's see, we've even got a choke, a manual choke. My goodness, it's been so long. I mean, the last car that I got into that had a manual choke, I'll tell you, was the Triumph that we have, which is 86 years old. I wonder, does it need any? Because I did just move it. No, let's see. So I had the heating on as well. A little bit. You have the outdoor lights, you have hazards working, front fogs, I'm assuming that is, or sorry, rear fogs. So dim, mains, flashers, indicators, wipers, jet wash. What I did notice under the engine bay, which will probably it will need to be replaced. The washer bottle is a milk bottle, so a plastic milk bottle, so you will need it to do something with that. Windy windows. Listen, you're going to get lots of exercise with this vehicle, that's all I can say. And it's cute. It really is. The cigarette lighter works. The heater works and blows hot air, which is lovely. I mean, that's what you want. I don't know. It's, again, I say this about a lot of things that we bring in. It seems that we get stuff that's very genuine. I mean, look, there's the door as well. It's not rotten. The door's not rotten. And you know, I'm glad that the stuff that comes in seems, certainly everything so far seems to be so genuine, because it makes my job and Don's job an absolute pleasure. You know, it really does. I will show you where there is a little bit of corrosion, which is underneath the windscreen. So there's the bonnet pull, and you can see, look, even here as well, if you can see with the light, there's more stuff, and he's mats everywhere. So there's the offending article beside the battery. And these, you had the spare wheel up front. One of these saved my mother and I. We had a Talbot with, which they actually did do a version of, and the engine was put up front. The spare tire was put up front, and the AA man came out because Mum's car didn't start before we had the accident. Actually, the day before we had the accident, he says, "Where's your spare tire?" And she said, "It's in the boot. I got a flat." And he says, "Get it in the front. It's part of the crumple zone." And you wouldn't think it. I mean, you'd be, "Oh, what are you talking about? It's part of the crumple zone." Well, let's face it. They didn't really have crumple zones as such, and it definitely protected us because the car literally folded. So listen, that needs changed. If I can, I'll try and find something suitable, better for that, because it's not much and it spoils the, you know. But it's an Alco chassis conversion as well, which I know for certain people, that's what you want. There's the Fiat plate, and as I said, it's not bad. The only place really that I'm seeing is there. A little bit of corrosion. The Sprinter has the same, whatever it is underneath the windscreen, trapping water behind the rubbers. And the paintwork is flat. It could do with a buff. A jet wash will clean it. A buff will bring it to life. But listen, there you go. So I'm actually going to move this down. You can maybe watch, because if we get blown away, struggling to get in, we get blown away with this wind into first. Handbrake is down here. Put my foot in the brake because we're on a bit of a hill, and oh, that would be quite handy. I did notice that a can of pop there yesterday. It actually just sat nicely at the side of the windscreen. And I'm not giving it any gas, that's just takeover. Listen, honest to goodness, this is the worst thing about loving cars and old vehicles. It really is the worst thing, because you get these vehicles in and they're so interesting, and they're not really expensive luxury super duper things. There's the rain, you'll even get to see the wipers getting tested. They're not super duper luxury things, but you know what they are? They're fascinating, they're interesting, they're cool, and this is one of them. You know, I could imagine getting turfed out of the house from dawn, and you know, me and the dog having nowhere to live, and this being perfect. There you go. As I said, it's not a race car, but as long as you feed the steering wheel, or try to in my case, and that's dry steering, and I'm doing that okay because we're on loose gravel there, as I was saying, and that does make a difference, believe it or not. And look, there you go, parked up, turn everything off, lights off. Spot on. Okay. Thanks, folks. I hope you like what you see, and we can put a deal together for the Charlie's family in his memory for his lovely vehicle that he was clearly proud of. Thanks guys, take it easy. Bye now.